Hi everyone, this is Ella Marie Francisco. Thanks for coming into my channel. We're going to do a little bit of tarot. Today we're going to look at the whole month of May. Well, things are really jumping out of here. Looks like we're going to be facing some of our fears. All right, so we're going to do the Celtic Cross. Going to split the deck. Coming in with the Judgment card as our center card. Wow, this is going to be juicy. Judgment card. This can be our brains overworking, and it can also be the whole invisible celestial team and all the other helpful beings that may be trying to reach you. Your ancestors could be ripping through the veils so that you can be in touch with them. And when it comes to the overthinking part and using the brain, you definitely don't want to be overthinking things. Definitely don't want to be too hard on yourself. And you don't want to be judging everything just because you can't judge everything. The card crossing us is, well, unfortunately, the PTSD card. Boy, this is the sign of the times, isn't it? The Nine of Wands. This is very much like old wounds surfacing to be cleared out, and it is crossing us. So these are our first two cards, the Celtic Cross, Judgment, and PTSD, and old wounds. Yeah, I have a lot to say about that. All right, we've got Knight of Cups upside down underneath us in our position of support. This does have to do with our hearts and our heart chakra, literally our heart valves and everything else. It talks a lot about your loves of life as well, that it's more important for you to be aware of what those loves are and what you're doing with them. Oh boy, Three of Swords. Nothing like a warning to not betray your intuition or your heart. So this is the supporting card, and then this is coming around the wheel. It's a lot of red, fiery, hot stuff. So you definitely want to listen to your own intuition. Your heart is a brain of itself. So underneath it all, you really do know what needs to happen. Sometimes, when we have the Judgment card, we're willing to judge anything. We're willing to rationalize it. We're willing to put it in our brain and never put it in our hearts at all. So you'd think that maybe we may be worried about the pain that we've been in or might have been in and have to still clear. If we're too hard on ourselves, we're not doing a lot of healing. We're actually prolonging the pain. And if we're bringing in narrow-minded judgments, then what is your heart going to do about that? Like, it's definitely going to kick up a fuss if you're too hard on yourself. So go easy on yourself with all of this. The King of Pentacles is hanging over our heads. This is representative of the male line, the patriarch to a certain extent, money, investments, the balance between the material world and the other worlds. So with this hanging over our head, we could be very concerned about money and what we're doing with it and what's going on with our family money and things like that. There may be people in our family that are helping us financially, and we may be afraid to ask them for it, but the help may be here regardless. So yeah, the King of Pentacles is also a lot of the male ancestry line. Usually they're coming to visit, or they're helping you make good decisions. They're helping encourage you to make decisions that hold value for yourself and your world and the projects you're working on. The other card we have here is the unburdening card, and this is in our doorway to the future, the Ten of Wands. So cycles are completing. There are things that you're letting go of that you must let go of. There is a little bit of a separation between the empathic parts of ourselves that can feel everything and maybe transmute energy around us, and the parts of us that overdo and overhelp and over enable those around us. So unburden the enabling and be sensitive to your changing needs. If we have these cards preceding this card, this is a lot as well to do with your own ability to feel. Whose feelings are you feeling, basically? And is it too much now to carry the burden of everybody else's pain? Let's not forget we're being crossed with the wounded healer card, basically. So, yeah, we're going to be hurting a little bit here, especially if we're overjudging ourselves and taking ourselves too seriously. And if we're bringing sweeping outcomes to everything. Oh my God, it's all doom and gloom and we're all going to die kind of stuff. I don't know. I mean, we are all going to die, but is it going to be tomorrow? I don't think so. So don't go too hard on yourself right now. And just listen. These are good listening cards. Your body is telling you things about what you shouldn't be doing right now. So be listening to that as well. You know, it's not just how do I spend my time, it's how do I feel about everything. What else is here? Let's see. And how many cards do we have so far? Good. Okay, so we've got the celebration card too. So just when you think nothing's going to work, there's something to still be celebrated. And for those of us who aren't getting caught up in the loop of the doom and gloom, you may have a lot of things to celebrate and things may be looking up, as well as there could be things that you're putting on the calendar, you're feeling more confident about and going to be moving forward with it. So this could be, you know, birth announcements, celebrations of life and weddings, things like that. You know, it's even going to be graduation season soon too. So there could be a lot to celebrate in these next couple of months. We do have a little bit of magic in the air. Magic works best when you are working the energy. It's very normal to get a little bit of magic happening in your world when you've got all that connected. So, and also, you know, it works the best when you work you the best. So if you're not betraying your intuition and you're not giving up your own heart of hearts in the mix, you know, and putting that on the slaughter block, and adding it to all the extra pain, then, you know, you could be, yeah, you would be bringing in a lot of great strides here. So you could be having some really good breakthroughs. I also was feeling something when I looked at all these cards together. We do have the potential to heal a tremendous amount and to rejoice and celebrate in some of what we unburden ourselves from. So, you know, you may be opting out of a lot of things right now. You may just decide, you know, I don't want everybody else's pain around me. I don't want to be responsible for it. This card with the Knight of Swords here, you know, these are all quick changes. This can be a lot of gossip, a lot of airway stuff coming, you know, through verbal and mental energy. But it can also be quick change and changing your mind and all of a sudden feeling spirit move through you and seeing your direction change. So where are we going with this? Keep moving all the cards around. So, and then our community card is our final card, Three of Pentacles. So this is community money. I mean, this could be an influx of government money or loans, grants, things that you apply for that you have to get approved for. This could be all kinds of funding. and outside resources. And also, this is a money card anyway, and that's hanging over our head. So it's quite possible that, there could be some family struggle going on with money, and other outside resources are needed and things like that. It's the cards are right side up, so I'm not too terribly worried about them. I feel like, if you've got a strong family of support with you right now, whether that's your bio family or your spiritual family, these are worth issues as well, making sure that you know your worth and can stabilize that for yourself, and to also be willing to bring in resources into the earth plane for your own benefit. Yeah, I guess that's it. I mean, like, that's a pretty quick little spread there. Hmm. All right, maybe we'll just see what else. Unburdening. I've been feeling that for quite some time. I feel like if there's one thing that Spirit's telling us right now, it's that we must love what we do. And, the ratios of our happiness have to outweigh the ratios of our pain and suffering, so to speak. So let's see, I'm going to pull another couple of cards here. What else do we need to know for May 2025? What else do we need to know? Time. Everything is not always or is visible in the obvious ways. This is a lot of change in the background, a lot of, energies working without us knowing about it at all. And then the Hierophant, we're talking about legacy cards here, and what is our legacy? So you could be putting a lot of effort into your own kids, wanting to teach them things, wanting to learn through them as well, and strengthen the family ties. So I guess that's what I'm feeling too, is there's some idea that there's some strength in the collaborations and the cooperations that come with people who are working towards a common goal. So, why don't we look at, if that's the case, see what else we need to know. Okay, so with the Judgment card too, you want to be careful with overthinking too much and perseverating, especially in negative thought. If you're having a lot of negative mind cycles too, you want to try to detox off of that and give yourself a little bit of a break. Try to have some happy sentences or fallen in right after all your negative ones to try to counterbalance some of that negativity. It may be feeling like you're slaying a major beast right now, but you're definitely moving through things. If we've got the Nine of Wands, I would take whatever opportunity you have to heal. I would heal in the moment. It's better than waiting and blowing up and dismantling relationships as a result. So be careful what you do with your temper this month as well. And don't be afraid to dig into the things that make the most sense to you and the things that you love the most. It's a better idea to fulfill or to fill your day with as much sunshine as possible in the literal sense and the figurative sense. And these two cards just jumped out again. So don't go into the doom and gloom. Sometimes, our darkest nights are right before our brightest breakthroughs, and we've already had a lot of breakthroughs. We've had quite a time with all the eclipse energy and all the power up that's been indicating from that. So look at what you have to celebrate. Look at where your joys lie. Look at what you've been able to produce and to connect with and work through, and trust that you've got the help and some of the invisible allies in the background as they came through in your 5. And then don't forget that you're really actually quite connected. And you may not be able to see every step, but it doesn't mean that you're going to be blind here. You may just be feeling your way through the dark, taking more confident steps, and letting the magic of the universe help you move through some of the hardest stuff yet to liberate. I don't know if it's the hardest stuff yet for everybody, though, so I kind of want to retract that statement. Not all of us are suffering enormously. I hope that you are not falling into the negativity. If you do have the negative loops going around, just allow them to push off of you, and I'll be back for a sneak peek in June to see what's going on with our June energies. Until then, have a great everything.